Hi, and welcome to episode 26. And this is for all you river cruise fans out there, or shall we say, cruise fans. And let's see if you can be converted from a cruise to a river cruise. I've just come back from Cologne, a Yuletide 4-night cruise, so 5 days, visiting the German Christmas markets. My goodness, I went with a group of 26 of us, well 25 plus me, and we had so much fun. But I'm going to do this episode in 2 parts. I'm calling this River Cruise Reality. So River Cruise Part 1 is all going to be about my experience of it and what could be your experience of a river cruise. And Part 2 is going to be the main comparisons between a cruise ship and a river cruise. And I've got a couple of interviews with a couple of my friends that experienced the river cruise with me, because I've got far too much info to do a whole episode just for the river cruise. It would have taken at least an hour, so I'm going to split it into 2. So for this episode, you're going to find out everything that you can encounter on a river cruise to the Rhine. And we also visited Moselle briefly. On this Yuletide Christmas cruise along the Rhine, we visited Cologne. We arrived at Cologne. We went on to Rüdesheim, Koblenz, Bonn, and then finally Cologne. Well, you can see what conditions were with the weather when I left. Very blustery, I have to say, and a bit damp. But here I am, ready for a Yuletide cruise. And this is us arriving onto the ship. I mean, if you're wondering what Christmas feels like in stereo, it's somewhere between twinkling lights, gingerbread, and a river breeze that definitely wakes you up. This is the initial walk down to our cabin. And the initial feel of the atmosphere there was definitely welcoming, nice and cozy and warm on there, which I was very pleased to feel.
Hi.
So yes, here we go, about to approach a cabin.
Unpacked my suitcase in this lovely river cruise cabin. I'm just having a little look around at the bits and pieces they've left now, and we have a lovely map of the Rhine. It's like a little welcome pack. Postcard. This is our itinerary. And look, this is pretty cool. You all get a water bottle, and it's to keep. You can take it home with you afterwards. And the water in the tap is drinking water, and they have their drinking water stations all around the ship. So yeah, so far, so good.
So let me say, it is a very spacious and comfortable, very clean cabin. Absolutely lovely, very comfortable. And there are 3 types of cabin on this river cruise ship. So we're on the middle deck. There are 3 decks. Ours was with huge sliding doors, so you've got a full view of the river and the beautiful outside. On the deck below, you get a small window, and that will come up later when we're in the gym. You'll be able to see the type of window you get if you're on the lower deck, which is obviously cheaper. Here are the larger windows. And on the top deck, you get a balcony. So obviously the price reflects the type of cabin that you have. Now I'm just about to stick my head out the window here, and look what we've got next to us. Another river cruise boat. So one of the funny things that they say is, when you wake up in the morning, if you aren't wearing anything, be careful about drawing the curtains. You might give your neighbours a surprise. The room has got tea and coffee facilities, and it has got a fridge as well, but it's not stocked with anything. It's just an empty fridge. But I was very happy with the space and the storage space we had. We've got robe and slippers there, a nice umbrella. Didn't have to use it though. So everybody's got an umbrella, which I thought was quite a nice touch, especially for sailing around Europe. And you've got a nice little, got a safe there. Here's the fridge. And there's a really nice little posh coffee machine. Well, me and my partner don't drink coffee. There he is. Hello. But still, very nice. And a lot of the other guests were very happy with the coffee that they provided there. So we're sailing away. We're off to Rudolph, our first evening. And Rudolph is the home of the famous Rudolpheimer coffee. That will come up later. And just look at the views all along this river. The Rhine is just full of beautiful views, especially castles. There are so many castles to see. I mean, you could literally just sit and stare out the window all night if you wanted to. But of course, we were with a huge group of us, so we were being very sociable and having our drinks, because between 6 p.m. and 12 p.m. it's all-inclusive drinks. And that goes for your coffees, teas. Sorry, I take that back. It's not specialty coffee or teas, but it's sparkling water and all your drinks that you can have, and your wine you can have. It's all inclusive. I have to say, the term all inclusive for me, I thought it was going to be all day, but it's only between 6 and 12 in the evening, and then again at lunchtime with your lunch. You can have wine, beer, soft drinks with your lunch, and that is included. So nothing before 12 p.m. and I think it's nothing after 2 p.m. on that particular cruise. So yes, as I say, there are lots and lots of things to see on the river along during the day. And I mean, for Rudolph, it's all about the Christmas markets. I mean, for me, it was my favourite Christmas market. The smell of roasted chestnuts and the glühwein. And I mean, I was left wondering how many Christmas ornaments to bring home. I mean, how many is too many? There was just so many beautiful stalls. Anyway, that will all come up. That will all come up soon. But as you can see, I mean, these castles were literally, and I'm not exaggerating, 5 minutes apart on both sides of the river. There were just castles everywhere. And they did explain all the history of that to us as well. So they did like little voiceovers during the cruise. And this is the lounge where we sat during the day. There's nobody in here at the moment because I filmed it during lunch, so that whilst everybody was having their lunch. But very comfortable. But this is your only lounge. So bearing in mind that on cruise ships you've got several spaces to choose from, here you have 2 spaces, and the only inside space is this lounge. And during the winter months you don't want to be up on top deck, unfortunately, because it was about 7, 8, 9 degrees. So it was quite fresh. But as you can see, it's a beautiful lounge, and there are lots of seating areas. So you've got big tables, you've got tables for 2, you've got comfy sofas. And this was quite full in the evening, but there was plenty of room for everybody. This particular ship took 140 guests. So if you think about 140 guests, and there were 26 of us, so we took up a considerable amount as a group, I have to say. The thing about going as a group was a little bit restricted with regards to tables and things. So here we are on a walking tour. This walking tour is included in your cruise cost, and every port that we stopped at, there was a walking tour arranged for the morning. And I have to say, they were absolutely brilliant. The guides were fantastic, and I was so happy that we went on them, because you just learn so much more about the place that you're visiting. I mean, I would say that being an ex-shore excursion person, but it's really true. it's a lot better than just wandering around the shops, not knowing what you're looking at. We learnt so much. I mean, you've got plenty of free time afterwards to wander around the market and have some glühwein, of course. And these little back streets in Rudesheim are an absolute treasure. It was my favourite Christmas market stop, I have to say. And it's just like stepping into a Christmas postcard, except this one comes with Rudesheim coffee. Look at this. It has brandy, lots and lots of brandy. Perfect for warming up your Christmas spirit and your toes. This guy in the coffee shop gave us a great demonstration. I mean, he had to make 6 of them. So whilst he's continuing with his Rudesheimer coffee, I'll tell you a little bit more. But this coffee was, to me, it was worth going on the cruise just to try this coffee. And I've got a German girlfriend, and I'm like, have you ever tried a Rudesheimer coffee? And she's like, no. I was like, you better get yourself there. It was so good. And the other thing that we discovered in Rudesheim was glue beer. And I mean, to be honest, when the guide told us about it, I was like, oh, don't fancy that. I mean, well, let's just stick with the glühwein. We tried it. And after we tried it, oh my goodness, that was it then. We wanted it in Koblenz, in Bonn, and you couldn't find it everywhere. You couldn't find anywhere. And we are all total converts. Everybody that tried it was like, oh my goodness, forget glühwein, glue beer. But it was a Belgian beer, can I add? So it's not German, because the Germans don't want you messing around with their beers. But the Belgian put some little cherry kirsch into the beer, and you'll see it come up shortly. And it's nice and warm and very, very tasty. This coffee cost, let me get this right, 11 euros. Yeah, I know. But I mean, it is a brandy coffee. It's like having an Irish coffee, isn't it? And you've got the extra flair in the service. So I thought it was well worth the money anyway. And the other thing that the guide told us to buy was a special chocolate from there. And it's like a dark chocolate, and it's got the Aspark Allrat brandy. And that's what he's using to flambe in the coffee. And it's served in that special mug topped with the whipped cream and chocolate shavings. It's a fiery, sweet and rich experience, and it's perfect for the cold weather when you're walking around your Christmas market. Absolutely delicious. So yes, there was so much to see in this festive town, and I can say we covered a lot of it walking wise, but we didn't go in enough shops for my liking, which is what you get when you're walking around with a group and with male partners, I have to say. But anyway, we persevered. So yes, the glue beer, this is what it looks like. Again, absolutely delicious. And we had glühwein as well. So on this day, the first day, we did pretty much overindulge with glühwein, glue beer, and the Rudesheimer Cafe. Yeah, well, it is Christmas. Walking back, you can see like the gangway that we have, and this gangway went directly to our ship. But if you were docked in a ship next to ours, you'd have to walk through. Whoop, here we go. Entertainment for our first night was the folklore show, and that was a lot of fun, and everybody was really in a great mood. And that's the one thing about river cruise ships, is they tend to go for local entertainment. So you have got the advantage of really immersing in the environment that you're in. Well, the next day I had to go to the gym. It's small, but it's there. I was very appreciative about the fact that you've got running machines and a small space for a mat. And this is the window I was talking to you about earlier. If you're on a lower deck cabin, you're going to have a little window like this, but you can still see out of it. I guess you have to be a certain height, I suppose. But you can still see out of the windows. Obviously, it's not as enjoyable as a full length window. There's another castle. So many beautiful castles. And I had, this was my cabin, and I really took pleasure in watching the world go by. And you're so close to the water as well. I found that quite an experience. Very peaceful. And it's quite peaceful in the lounge as well during the day. People are sort of sitting there having tea, coffee, and chilling out, and yeah, looking out the window. So much to see, so much to see. So we're off to Koblenz, where the Rhine and Moselle meet, and where I discovered that I can take pictures of every Christmas tree I see. No regrets. Now, you can just take so many pictures at these Christmas markets. But, well, and there's, of course, more Glühwein. But Koblenz was, for me, the quieter Christmas market. Still nice, but a little bit quiet. I'm just going to have a little walk around now, the ship, the outside area. So obviously this is the top deck. That jacuzzi had warm water in it, but not warm enough for me, my dears. I mean, you can imagine this in the summer, and you can see both sides of the river with the sunshine, drinking cocktails, and or with just cups of tea and coffee. But upstairs on that top deck, it would have been really nice in the summer. So for me, I think my next river cruise trip would have to be in the summer. So here we are. This is, you can't see it very well, but this clock, every time it chimes, there's a little man underneath bobbing his tongue out. And you just can see some very curio type of things when you're walking around all these lovely German festive markets. This was also a visit to a church, and very lucky that we could hear the church organ being played. It was a famous church, one of the largest, I think it was the largest church organ in Germany. Beautiful place. And these walking tours only last 90 minutes, but you can get to see plenty in that 90 minutes, and I recommend everyone to do it, because once you've sort of been orientated around your town, then you can go and explore it afterwards. And of course, we're back to the Christmas markets for some more Glühwein, and then back on board for a dinner. This is a little bistro on board the ship, but you could only get approximately 24 people in there. So as a group of 26, we had to be split up into two lots of 12 for us to enjoy this meal. It was the best meal that a lot of us said that we had was in this bistro. Very nice food. The experience was lovely. I mean, the food in general was nice. Hey, so I'm standing outside on the ship. It's very fresh, and we all had to be out of our cabins by 9 o'clock, and our flight isn't until 6 o'clock this evening, which is a bit of a bummer, but we don't have to leave the ship until 2:45. We get a light lunch between 12:30 and 1, and we've got a tea and coffee station. And of course, we can get off the ship for a walk if we want to into this little town, but there's not a lot there. It's an industrial town. We were supposed to be in Cologne today, but they couldn't get a berth, I believe. But they took us into Cologne yesterday for 2 or 3 hours, so that was okay. So I've got time to kill, so I thought I may as well do these videos here rather than at home in my office back in Blighty. So I've done a couple of interviews, and I'm calling this episode River Cruise Reality. It's been a great experience, and I was very excited about it. Some of the comparisons that I have to make, which I wasn't expecting in relation to a cruise ship, was
Yeah, so that's all going to come in part 2. I'm going to look at the more of the nitty-gritty things, the background stuff, and the real comparisons between the cruise ship experience and the river cruise experience. So as you can see, that river cruise was wonderful. And as far as Germany goes and those Yuletide markets, I mean, if I'd have gone with my girlfriends, I think we would have had a lot more of a even better time, because we would have been in the shops as well. I didn't get enough time to do any shopping. I mean, I did a little bit of shopping, but I wanted to go in all of the shops. But anyway, I absolutely recommend going to the Yuletide German markets, and it just, what a way to start December. We are so in the Christmas mood, and I'm off to go and get my Christmas tree now. I'm late because normally we get it at the beginning of December, and I was on the river cruise. So I'm a couple of weeks late, but I'm going to make up for it with a lovely Bailey's coffee whilst I'm decorating the tree. Hope you're all getting ready for Christmas, or that you're probably all organised and ready already. Okay, I'll see you on the next episode. Oh, thanks for watching. And if you've got anybody that you know that might be interested in this episode, please share and like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.